Morelia, definitely the most recognized historical structure is the cathedral, located in the historic center of the city, having on one side the Plaza de Armas and on the other side the Plaza Melchor Ocampo. In its surroundings, we can find different commercial establishments such as restaurants, hotels, or shops. The cathedral, as we know it today, is the new version of the first cathedral, which was much smaller and therefore not big enough for the inhabitants. In addition to this, the first cathedral suffered a fire, so finally in 1660 construction began in the hands of the architect Vicenzo Barrancho, and the project was complete in 1744. Its towers are an icon in the city, since due to their height they can be seen from various points of Morelia. On its exterior, we find an impressive amount of details that make this a total unique work. We can appreciate all kinds of religious symbols whose meanings will be of great value to believers. Originally, the cathedral did not have any external protection until 1810. It suffered enough robberies in the Independence Army, for which a barrier was added to the outside. Currently, the cathedral receives a large number of tourists per year, so the City Council of Morelia has made a show of lights and pyrotechnics which is presented every week. The level of production of this show is very good, since the lighting system in the cathedral was made by the same company that made the one for the Eiffel Tower. It is also relevant to mention that both the Plaza de Armas and the Plaza Melchor Ocampo, for certain important festivities, decorate with the theme of the dates, for example Christmas, Day of Death, or Independence Day. Also, in the entire area of the historic center we can find many activities that will teach us about culture, such as interpretations of legends with historical value for the city or even plays of different kinds. The tourists attracted by the cathedral are a great advantage, since with so many visitors, the income of all local business increases and this benefits the economy of the entire state. Definitely, the cathedral is a place that is loved by both local and tourists, and this love is very well deserved, since it represents a lot of culture, apart from the fact that the level of architecture is impressive.
One of the most iconic places in our home city downtown is the Aqueducto, which is a historical monument that in the 16th century was used to transport water all over the city. But nowadays it is only a historical monument used to mark a type of division in the city. As I mentioned before, the Aqueducto was built in the 16th century, specifically in 1549, during the colonial period here in Mexico. Also, it was built when Morelia, Michoacán was named Valladolid. At the end of the 16th century, it was replaced by a constitution of lime and stone, and this remodeling lasted until the end of the 18th century, when lately it was replaced with an iconic quarry as we know it nowadays. This remodeling was ordered by the 16th Bishop of Michoacán, Manuel de Escalante Colombres y Mendoza. The aqueducto is characterized by the Vallisolestano style, and finally, the last remodeling that took place in the aqueducto was in 1997. It only gave the structure some support and the characteristic illumination that nowadays it has. This edification was ordered by a very recognized bishop in the colonial period. His name was Fray Antonio de San Miguel, to provide potable water to the city and to give people a job so that they could have a sustainable life. The highest point of this building is 9.24 meters high, near the zone of Jardín de Villalongín. It possesses two water boxes, one at the beginning and one at the 700 meter away from the initial point. And the average length of this structure is 1,700 meters in total. Thanks to the aqueducto and many other buildings in Morelia's downtown, the UNESCO in 1991 proclaimed Morelia's downtown as a cultural heritage and gave relevance to Morelia. One iconic place that is located by the side of the aqueducto are the Tarascas, which is a fountain with three women holding up a big plate full of food, and it represents Purepecha culture, and the meaning of this edification is abundance. To conclude with this edification, the aqueducto is one of the most important and representative structures of the city. Also, it can tell us something about the history of our ancestors and can help us understand what things were used in the past to give people a job. If you decide to visit Morelia, Michoacán, and know more something about the historical context and the beauty of it, visiting the Morelia's Aqueducto is a great opportunity that by no chance you can miss.
The Morelos House Museum. José María Morelos y Pavón was born on September 30 in 1765 in the city of Valladolid, today the city of Morelia. Morelos comes from a humble family, but from an early age, Morelos learned his first letters from his mother. In addition, from a very young age, he drove a train to Mexico City to Acapulco. At the age of 30, he entered the University of San Nicolas in his hometown. There he met Miguel Hidalgo, who was then the director of the academy. Shortly thereafter, he joined a religious order. He then served as a priest in Churimimcu, Caracualo, and Necpetalo, where he learned of the 1810 uprising. After learning of the uprising, José María Morelos y Pavón met Hidalgo. The latter named him lieutenant and ordered him to raise a mutiny from the south and take Acapulco, but no strategy was planned. Dedicated to José María Morelos y Pavón, the museum is housed in a building dating from 1747. Built by the Royal Court of Consulates in the mid-18th century. It served as accommodation for the governor before his arrival in the capital of New Spain, hence the name of Governor's House. In Ecatepec, it is called Casa de Morelos because the servants of the country spend their last moments there. It currently has the support of the National Institute of Anthropology and History. It was declared a historic site in 1933 because the general hero of the Mexican War of Independence was imprisoned and executed there. The execution took place on December 22 in 1815, and it was not until 1864 that a monument was erected in his honor outside the siege. It was opened to the public as a community center in 1990 and officially became a museum in 1992. It stores and distributes various objects related to the protagonist, such as the cart that took him to the palace where he died. Archaeological and paleontological fragments from the area are also exhibited, such as the skeleton of a mammoth found in the city of Ecatepec.
The Garden of Roses. There are dozens of places to visit in the charming capital city of the state of Michoacán. The city of Morelia is also one of the most beautiful colonial cities in all of Mexico. The fascinating architecture of its historic city center has earned it the title of a UNESCO World Cultural Heritage Site. The Rose Garden is a public square that is very famous for its quiet and well-kept garden that form pleasant landscapes for visitors to see, a stone fountain by the artist Ignacio Asunsolo, and cafes. This is located in the history center of the city of Morelia. Around there are many architectural precincts and great historical way for the Michoacanos. Like any typical corner of Mexico, this place has a legend. In this case, it revolves around the two statues that can be found here, that of the Spanish writer Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra and that of Don Vasco de Quiroga, the first bishop of Michoacán. It is said that on November 2, during the night of death, the spirits of these characters return to that site to share experience and discuss some relevant current events. For all this reason, the Rose Garden should be on your list of places to visit in Morelia. The Garden of Roses is how this walkway is popularly known, but its official name is Jardín Luis González Gutiérrez, in honor of the former rector of the school San Nicolás de Hidalgo in Morelia. Its trees, flowers, and curry benches are a refuge for the casual stroller, while delighting your eyes with the facades of the Conservatorio de las Rosas and the Santa Rosa de Lima temple. This is considered a garden because of its elongate shape of the east-west axis. It is also a meeting place where local artists meet several times a week to put on exhibition or sell their work. Also, on the last Sunday of each month, you can enjoy special events with musical, theatrical, and literary proposals. At the ends of the central walkway, there are 8 stonework benches that complete the harmony of this place.